We're going to ditch the podium tonight so you can see more than my forehead. I open my eyes and see first the 6-foot doors of the window open wide next to my tiny bed. A breeze blows in from the river less than a block away, and I slowly remember where I am. It's early summer, Paris, France. I'm 23 years old, and I am in heaven. 6,000 miles from home, I'm training with a multilingual theater company, living in my first ever all-to-myself apartment, and best of all, I am smack down, laid out, head over heels in love with a girl. My toes curl in spontaneous delight as I roll onto my back, stretch, and revel in the brazen comfort of my naked body under the sheet. Instinctively, I turn my head toward my little altar, an artful display of things that matter to me. But here, far from the expectations of family, confined by neither French nor American norms, I am living actually just for me. A smile blooms across my face, and I think of her, Annette, a truck-driving American expat who's been living on the front line of feminist counterculture since I was in middle school. We go to art films and flea markets and miss our metro stops in deep discourse about social justice. We take long walks through the oldest parts of town, where her art and architecture background mates with my dance and theater sensibilities, producing vibrant views of our adopted city as stone in motion. With her face in my mind, I tuck my hands behind my head, my armpit hair long and defiant. My right nipple popping over the edge of the sheet. It's then I realize I seriously have to pee. I kick off the covers and look around for something to throw on. Annette's t-shirt with an old-timey black and white film still of 2 women kissing, and the caption, "Read my lips," printed underneath, is crumpled at my feet. So I grab it and feed my arms through as I walk toward the door. The shirt is short, reaching just above my hips, but in it, I feel invincible. I don't bother with pants as I open the door. I'm just popping out to pee. The toilet is across the hall, just outside my front door. It's technically communal, but I've never seen anyone use it. In fact, I've never seen anyone anywhere in the hall. There's another unit at the opposite end, and I did one time hear a man's footsteps go by, but other than that, I've always been completely alone here. I leave my front door open, cross the hall, and plunk down on the can, feeling grateful for the 100th time that it is, in fact, a can, not the literal hole in the floor most of my friends have. Turkish toilets are extremely common when it comes to cheap digs, and I am adamantly opposed. I live in an apartment the size of an armoire, but a place to rest my bum while pooping is non-negotiable. I feel slightly euphoric as pee gushes from my overly full bladder. Such a simple pleasure, I think, and no doubt universal. I vaguely stare at my front door through the open door of the water closet, wondering if cats experience this delight too, when my front door moves. I gasp and lean forward, but that's as far as I get before I hear the dreaded click. Frozen where I sit, I stare at the door. There are no doorknobs in old France. Nothing to turn but the ornate handle of a skeleton key now safely locked inside my apartment. Holy, holy, holy shit. I am alone in a foreign country, cell phones do not yet exist, and I am locked out stark naked below the waist. Panic, fear, and horror crash violently against each other as I gruffly wipe and head into the hall. In the sea of emotion, my mind valiantly bobs, scanning the horizon for options. Quickly, I think of one. My window is open. If my neighbor is home, I can crawl out his window, carefully creep along the ledge, and enter my apartment that way. I stare at his dark door at the end of our hall. The plan makes me seasick, but could it work? I inventory the possible issues. I've never met this guy. Never even seen him. He might not be home. My crotch is showing. My ass will be in the wind as I crawl across the ledge. And we live on the 7th floor. Shockingly slowly, the sun comes up on how bad an idea this is. But I'm only actually dissuaded when I realize I can't possibly explain in French everything that's happened. Time for plan B. The concierge downstairs, I think. She must have a key. But the thought of standing in the lobby of our building, presenting myself literally half naked to our uber-traditional, ultra-reserved concierge in her A-line skirt and sensible flat shoes, her mousy hair neatly combed around her delicately aging 60-something face, and watching her gasp in abject horror at the unruly curls of my recently radicalized and unabashedly uncoiffed muff, only to clutch her black twin set to her breast, expel a breathless mon Dieu, and die right there in the doorway, makes me reconsider. Finally, I have to admit there is only one option. My landlords live 2 floors down. They travel a lot, so I have no idea if they're home. But if they're not, it's the ledge or the concierge. It's worth a shot. Holding my shirt lamely against my body, I dodge through the maze of hallways typical of the top floors of old Parisian apartment buildings. The chambre de bonne, as the tiny rooms here are colloquially called, were designed to be servants' quarters. They're owned by those living in the huge apartments down below. Most of the families in our building use these rooms for storage, but I've occasionally heard people down various corridors in the past, so I'm moving as fast as I can. I reach the service elevator, the only elevator on the floor, hop into the tiny cupboard, pull the metal gate shut behind me, and push the fat black button next to the number 5. The elevator begins its creaky descent, and I see through the repeating diamond frame of the gate the 7th floor rising away from me. Instantly, it occurs to me that I will be visible to anyone standing on the 6th floor platform. My vagina arriving long before my face. There are 2 doors leading to this small platform, one from each of the apartments on the floor. But when my eyes finally arrive, the landing is blissfully empty. Approaching the 5th floor, I think about who lives in my landlord's apartment. American Papa Richard, 2 boys, Thomas and Mark, ages 5 and 9, daughter Jane, age 12, and French mama Monique. I adore Monique. I met her at the American church while standing in line to get the latest rental listing. She picks me out of the crowd and tells me she has a room in the posh 16th. She doesn't like to post it. You never know who'll come to your door. So she lets her intuition be the guide. She has a good feeling about me, and I like her instantly. In the coming months, she'll take me into her heart. She'll make a point of coming to see me perform and spend the metro ride home enthusiastically reflecting my talent. She'll share her family and her home. Her friendship is invaluable, and I'm about to show up at her door butt naked, possibly in front of her children. I am already mortified, but I have no choice, and I've arrived. I step out of the elevator, sucking down my dread, and knock on the kitchen door. It's hard to imagine a good scenario. Any way I spin it, it comes up calamity. And if no one's home, it's a catastrophe. But then it hits me. There is a good outcome. This could all be okay if, hi, Jane, hi, I stammer. Can I borrow a pair of shorts? Sure, she says, not quite looking me over. She closes the kitchen door, and my good fortune weakens my knees. Oddly more jittery now that I'm moments away from pants, I try in absolute vain to pull the hem of my shirt lower, praying that one of Jane's parents isn't coming back with her. Briefly, I wonder if they are, which one might be worse. Here, Jane says, opening the door again. I squeak a little when I see she's alone. She hands me a pair of faded bike shorts with wide turquoise and white stripes, which I nervously yank onto my body. I'm immeasurably grateful and somewhat surprised to discover my ass is not much bigger than a 12-year-old's. The fit is tight, but at least I'm in. I got locked out of my apartment, I say sheepishly, as if that explains why I was naked outside her kitchen. Do you guys have a spare key? I don't know, she says. Let me ask Mom. A moment later, Jane and Monique are standing together at the door, a key in Monique's hand. And though I'm dressed now, I feel extremely self-conscious. In part, it's the shorts. I wonder if Monique will notice I'm wearing her daughter's clothing. And if she does, how long will it take to figure out that I showed up naked? But far more, it's the t-shirt. Monique doesn't know about Annette, and I might have the courage to tell her, but it feels entirely wrong to hit her with the shirt. Read my lips is meant to be provocative. It's a bold stake in the ground, but it pushes people away, people not like me. It's the push that makes me feel powerful. But Monique hasn't earned this aggression, and in her presence, I'm embarrassed to be wearing it. Thanks a lot, I say, grabbing the key before she can ask questions. I'll bring it right back. I slip into the elevator and Monique closes her door, sparing me the awkwardness of watching her watching me. On the 7th floor, I walk purposefully to my room. I take off Jane's shorts and Annette's t-shirt and slide into my own clothes. They feel boring and ordinary, and also really comfortable. There's a key to return, but I'm not eager to see Monique. I feel vulnerable and ashamed, not because I'm in love or because I'm bisexual, but because I haven't trusted her with my truth. I also know I probably won't. It's clear I'm not ready. Through my window, I watch the barges move slowly down the River Seine. But I said I'd be right back, so it's time to go. I grab both keys, then stand stock still in the open doorway, looking again and again at my open hands, one to the other, a key in each, like the newly minted obsessive-compulsive I am, making sure I have them. Here's your key, I say overly cheerfully to Monique when she opens the door. I'm so glad you were home. Otherwise, I'd have had to ask the concierge. Oh no, says Monique, she doesn't have a key to your room. I think. She would have died for nothing. And here are Jane's shorts, I add awkwardly. I thought those looked like Jane's, she says. I see the wheels turning, but before they gain traction, I say, well, have a good weekend. À bientôt. À bientôt, she lovingly repeats, and I retreat into the elevator.